Let's do this. Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. Today is Barbie's 60th anniversary and I decided to celebrate it by watching all the Barbie movies. I personally didn't have a lot of Barbie dolls, but I did grow up watching all those movies. I've been thinking about this idea a lot. You know, you have your bad reasons because Barbie is a controversial figure. I'm a very boring person to comment on movies. Editing is gonna be a hellhole, and if my calculations are right, this is actually gonna take 2 full days. But at the same time, I have some Barbie knowledge. I just needed a reason to watch Barbie movies. I know that lots of people grew up with Barbie movies and shamelessly love them. And there are just a handful of movies that I haven't watched, but I'm very much looking forward to watch them in this week. So my goal is also to kind of rank them. I haven't watched Barbie movies in a while, but if I go from memory, this would be my ranking. And a disclaimer, a big disclaimer, my favorite movies may not be your favorite movies may not be my favorite movies. I know there's an overall bias towards the older movies. It's currently 10 AM in the morning and I'm just gonna spend the entire day watching Barbie movies. I was doubting whether I should also watch the Barbie and the Rockers, the animated movies, but I'm just gonna keep it to CGI for now because we've got 36 movies to go through. So let's already get started with the first one. When you take your TV towards a place differently than your home, make sure you bring the TV remote as well. First one, Barbie and the Nutcracker. So I personally grew up with the first 3 movies, which are the Nutcracker, Swan, and Rapunzel. But because the movie's story is a little bit more complicated, I never really understood the Nutcracker. But maybe that's also because the DVDs were in Chinese. While watching those movies, some of them are movies that I've seen a lot of times. And it's possible that I'll be doing stuff on my laptop, which is over here, or just doing something else. And I know this video is either gonna be 10 minutes or 2 hours long, but I'm not gonna care, because this is my channel and I just want to post whatever I want. I'll be talking about my favorite characters from each movies, just my regular thoughts, and also rank them in the end. Barbie movies really made me appreciate ballet as it is. Oh, the music is absolutely fantastic. And for some reason I was always amazed by those glitters, by those fairies that light up. I think this entire movie is just worth watching for this scene. This is just a very innocent Barbie movie, and that's why I think it made the older movies so great. So these are other examples in which they really used sensors to capture the movements of ballet dancers. Oh, this is what we're talking about. This is the reason why I just want to do a Barbie marathon, just to watch scenes like these. It's 11 AM and I just want to cry my eyes out. Oh, just watching this scene just makes my heart buzz. All the feelings. Did you see that shot? That was such a gorgeous shot. Barbie using Tchaikovsky's music for the ballet movies was just the best thing that they ever did, and I just can't wait to watch Swan Lake after this. I want to cry. Man, what a beautiful ending to a beautiful story. Owen Hurley did a great job directing the first 3 movies, and I think that's why the classics are just so great. They're directed by one person, they all have kind of a similar storyline where Barbie tells the story. It just really shows the essence of the Barbie films. Number 2, Barbie as Rapunzel, released in 2002. If you thought my emotions went crazy during Nutcracker, you should see me at Barbie as Rapunzel. So for the ranking, NUTCRACKER is just gonna be on the only spot, and I'll just place movies above or underneath it. Oh man, the music is already starting. I can't deal with this. Arnie Roth, what are you doing to me? So to talk a little bit about my story with Barbie as Rapunzel, I think this one is my most watched movie as a child. There's a handful of movies that I had on DVD and actually rewatched over and over again, and this was one of them. As a kid, I was always known as the girl with long hair, so I was named Rapunzel sometimes. My favorite Disney movie is also Tangled, which of course came out in 2010, compared to this one coming out in 2002, but I love both of them on its own level. I just get teary-eyed watching this. I just love this so much. You hear that music? You hear that music? The F them soundtrack. Look at their cute dresses. It was almost the only one man you've seen. This is such a heartbreaking scene. Is this room actually stretching? I'm really trying hard to be funny, guys. And I know that no one's gonna watch this video anyways.
What are you doing?
I just love that they did this. Just the drawing and coming to life thing. This is what I try to do when I do watercolor. Just touching the paper with the pencil and hope the image comes out. This scene is probably my favorite scene compared to every Barbie movie. Did you see that? She changed dresses. So, the thing is, I really love Barbie transformations and dress transformations, and this is probably just the most magical thing I saw as a child. And this music, I can't deal with this music. So as a child, I actually drew on the walls just to hope I could get a dress like this. This is such a beautiful scene. Oh my god, I'm just getting goosebumps all over me. I think this video is just gonna be me just squealing over particular Barbie scenes. And you know what? That's gonna be alright. This is just gonna be a video praising Barbie movies. Oh man, I love this movie. I just realized their kingdom crests are consisting of horses. Another thing that will happen in this video, me just fawning over every horse. He kind of dodged the bullet though. Oh, that was such a cute shot. I didn't realize that one. These happy endings is gonna make me so mushy and sappy and emotional. And this is only just the second movie. We've got 35 more to go through. Do you think she just put her old hair back onto her head, or that her hair grows really fast? She's on the beach. She wanted to walk on the beach, and she's now on the beach. I think this movie did inspire me to kind of paint and draw, but it never went far because I expected to just create entire masterpieces once I touch paper with my pencil or anything. That was disappointing. Next up, Swan Lake. The sidekick is basically Penelope, but in a unicorn form. I don't mind, I like unicorns. The castle on the back of the DVD cover really looks like Shanghai Disneyland for some reason. So I bought a lot of DVDs in China because they were cheaper there, but also because they have subtitles. And I really like subtitles because then I can eat crisps and not be bothered by the crunch. I forgot to rank Barbie and Rapunzel. I am going to place Barbie as Rapunzel above NUTCRACKER, but again, you don't have to agree with this list, this is just a personal ranking. So my friend had the Swan Lake doll, and I loved the dress. The dress was just amazing. Talking about crisps. have to say, after watching this movie, I would always look at the stars, just trying to find a swan. As a kid, you don't realize Barbie is telling this story, so it just weirded me out that the cookies would change flavors. It really looks like Penelope though. She could have at least informed her family in this night, because she's just gonna be a normal human just until sunrise, right? Again, I really love the dance scenes in this movie, and I really love the choreography. Like, most of it is based on the actual Swan Lake ballet, but I just really like what Barbie did with it. Ballet is a very hard sport. Oh, the dress is so beautiful. You know it, sis. I love the Neapolitan dance. This is possibly my most watched scene from this movie. I just love putting this on. Can I just say that the princess suit is very pretty? But Swan Lake would be on the second place compared to Barbie and the Nutcracker. But now we get to Princess and the Pauper. Probably the favorite Barbie movie of the majority of people. I didn't grow up with it personally. The first time that I watched it was being an older teenager. So in the Barbie universe, this would kind of be like filmed like The Parent Trap. Not only are they just, like they say, identical, Erica and Annalise are voiced by Kelly Sheridan, which is Barbie's voice. So if this was a live action thing, it would also just have one actress just playing the movie by herself. I still have to watch The Princess Switch though. I think that one is already close with its storyline, and like I said, Vanessa Hudgens plays both of the main characters. There's also The Princess and the Popstar, which I'll also watch later on, which is basically inspired from this movie, which I know people don't really like. I think this is my favorite song from the movie, because I do like me some transformation sequences, training sequences, and it's just a very nice song where they move forward in the story. Something I very much like of Barbie and Nutcracker and also in this movie is just the development and the chemistry between the male and the female characters. For example, in the Nutcracker, Clara knows Prince Eric is the Nutcracker, and they just build on top of each other's skills and courage. And in this movie, you have Julian, I think it's Julian, and Annalise having just such a good chemistry because they just like the same things. It's very sweet how King Dominic is someone who very much loves music, and Erica is a singer. It's as if it's true love, and they're both disguised. I do love Princess and the Pauper more than I thought, but the songs are just very great. First he's disguised as a pager, and now he's an actual dressed as a knight. I think he's also a man of disguises.
You love disguises, don't you?
Called it. Oh, this is such a sweet ending. I really like King Dominic and Erica together.
Many.
Oh, I want one of them. Look at those kitties. Ranking Princess and the Pauper. It's gonna be hard, I think. It would feel very weird, but objectively, I think I can say Princess and the Pauper is one of the best movies, I think. I'm gonna put this between Rapunzel and Swan Lake. Whether I like it or not, Princess and the Pauper will always stay a very iconic movie to everyone. It does deserve its credit. So next up we have Barbie Fairytopia, which became its own franchise. Mine is still in packaging. Fairytopia is actually a movie that I've watched many times throughout my life, but I can never seem to remember it. When I was a child, I did have a friend who was obsessed with Fairytopia and had all the dolls, all the play sets. So I kind of always just let her be the Fairytopia person, which resulted in me constantly forgetting what the movie is about. I think around this time Wings was also just a very huge thing. Maybe they were competing with Wings. When did Wings came out? apparently there's a horse named Wings. Oh my god. Wings aired in 2004 and Fairytopia was in 2005, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was kind of a reaction based on all the fairy hype. 5 movies in and I just really want to go to the Dutch eBay and just look for Barbie movies, dolls. I'm just gonna decorate a little bit. I love Barbie movies, but I'm getting very tired. I hate myself. I'm already annoyed by those creatures. What the F are those? Oh, how long is this movie? Well, that took me a while to get through. I think I will be more amused with the other Fairytopia movies, because there's also MERMAIDIA, there's the MARIPOSA series. I am unfortunately gonna place this currently on the bottom of the list. If Fairytopia is your favorite movie, don't worry. I think there will be movies that are gonna be underneath though. The next one, excitingly, is another favorite of mine, which is Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus. And guess what? This was Barbie's first and only 3D movie. Avatar is squawking. Okay, so I can only watch it in 3D if I do it in Dutch. This isn't working. Again, their crest is a Pegasus, which is a mythical horse. I love this movie. Okay, in the first few minutes there are already like 10 reasons why I love this movie. First of all, she's ice skating. I love skating, but I also have this appreciation for ice skating. I also really appreciate her wearing red. Like we all know Barbie from wearing pink and stuff, but look how great she looks in red. We have music again from Arnie Roth. It's one of the first movies that I bought myself on DVD, so basically I would watch it over and over again, especially with those 3D glasses that don't work in English, but I watched it in Dutch most of the times. Her name is also Annika, and I went to the United States where no one could really properly pronounce my name, which is Anneke, and most of them would say Annika, which I didn't mind. I even got myself a name tag with Annika on it. And again, this movie is basically about horses, so I'm just pretty much in love with this movie. They do kind of force the cute polar bear down your throat. But alright, I can live with it. I just named all the reasons why I do like this movie. I really like the concept of them just painting the sunsets and the sunrises. Those are my favorite parts of the day. You know, just like the Pegasi in My Little Pony, they control the weather. I'm just a little weirded out that Brietta doesn't have bangs, like her human form does. Why does the horse form doesn't? I just realized the skirt she's wearing is literally just a shorter version of the dress she was wearing. That's pretty cool though. It's also very practical. But I mean, they do this a lot also in the Three Musketeers. I can always use a good old Barbie transformation scene. Why does Barbie keep having phones on set? That was Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, but again, I have this nostalgia connected with it. I'm going to put it between Rapunzel and Princess and the Pauper. Next up, we have from 2006 Barbie Fairytopia Mermaidia. The Fairytopia franchise is getting serious, guys. Is there a skip intro button? They're just recapping Fairytopia right now. So, I'm not sure if I've actually seen this movie, but just like the Fairytopia movies, those are movies that I watch and I actually can't remember anything from it. I think I've seen it maybe once, this exact DVD, and I think I remember liking it, but we'll see. I really didn't know that I would dislike Fairytopia this much, but I don't know. I just have a different preference for Barbie movies, I think. It doesn't surprise me that this sea butterfly is voiced by Andrea Lipman, because that was just a typical Pinkie Pie thing to do, to just randomly blur out text and sentences. Okay, so I must say that Mermaidia does entertain me a little a little more than Fairytopia, even though I sometimes got a little annoyed with Nori being so possessive over Nalu and them just kind of fighting over a guy. This one is above Fairytopia and under Nutcracker for now. I think there will be a lot of movies that will come in between Nutcracker and Mermaidia. I think I'll be more entertained with the Mariposa movies, but I haven't seen them in a while either, so I'm curious to see what will happen. So next up we actually have a movie that I haven't seen. Basically the first one, it's still in packaging, I haven't seen it online or anything, so I'm curious. It's the Barbie Diaries, in which Barbie will also be the main character throughout the entire movie. This is mostly kind of a forgotten movie because the animation style is so different compared to the other movies. I've always kind of refused or avoided watching it. I mean, this is not much different from the direction that Barbie currently wants to go, right? Just Barbie being a teenager, being relatable. This is weird. This really sounds and looks like something that would be like on the Disney Channel. The animation style kind of reminds me of the Barbie vlogs that they currently do on YouTube, which personally for me is a bad thing because I've been avoiding them, I guess. I'm very bothered by the dialogue in this movie. Okay, I have no idea where the story is going, but as someone who writes diaries and journals, I do like that concept. Is our logo a horse? Is our school logo a horse? Because that would make this movie 10 times better. The rule of not applying makeup during class.
I think they're magic. Magic? It's like you can wish on it or something. I mean, not like I wish I had a million.
This is not the right moment to put magic in a movie. It's a pretty cool guitar though she got. It's just transparent. I'm surprisingly positive about some aspects in this movie. And they took a very different direction with this one, which on one side really rubs the wrong way with me because it was very cringy to watch. But at the same time, there are some messages that are very nice, and I really liked the last few quotes about writing a diary and how a diary unlocks you. But at the same time, I'm gonna put it in the bottom for right now, but I do feel like there are worse movies. But I'm very glad that I got to watch Barbie Diaries. Well, it's time to go back to the good old ballet movies. After some original stories, some new stories. 12 Dancing Princesses is a movie that I've watched regularly. Not as a child though, but I think it's a pretty nice movie. Arnie Roth is like the Alan Menken of Barbie. The theme in 12 Dancing Princesses and also just the song Shine are probably one of my favorite pieces in the Barbie movies. You see this one? You saw that one walking by? This one? That's my favorite. She's wearing red, she has black hair, and you know why she's my favorite? She likes horses. I think the general struggle of this movie is having 12 main characters and you just want to give them all enough screen time. But of course, there's Barbie as Genevieve, who will probably get all the screen time. It took me forever to realize that their names are on alphabetical order depending on their age. So you have Ashlyn, you have Blair, and you have all the others. I'm very bad with names. Shout out to Blair, that's my girl. Can't we just have Julian singing To Be a Princess over and over and over again? You know, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of etiquette and a little bit of discipline. It's just sad that it has to go this way, I guess. You know what I'm going to say about transformations and Barbie? It literally looks like any other male character from the Barbie movies. You're squealing. I can't deal with this. Those are some serious relationship goals. Or at least dating goals, because they are just not even together. It's pretty great that Arnie Roth was actually nominated for an Emmy Award for the song Shine. Oh, of course she goes with the horse. I love her, even though she doesn't get a lot of screen time. It's very sad to think that this is kind of the last ballet movie until Barbie in the Pink Shoes. It's an end of a good era. I really love the Barbie ballet movies. Just having ballet in the movie, it just makes it perfect. And this song is just... it makes me think of all the good things that happened when I discovered this song. So I think I'm gonna just put it between the NUTCRACKER and MERMAIDIA. It's so hard to rank them because they all have this different strengths and different weaknesses, and it just really depends on your mood what you want to watch. I just returned from work and it's time for another FAIRYTOPIA movie. Magic of the Rainbow. So I actually thought the ending of the first FAIRYTOPIA movie was basically the plot of this one. So I have no idea what happens in this movie. The cover has Hollow. You can probably see it anyways. Are they gonna recap FAIRYTOPIA again? Since 2005 they've been kind of trying to pump out Barbie movies as much as they can. I just know already that if any FAIRYTOPIA fans are watching this, you probably hate me by now for just not liking FAIRYTOPIA. But again, I'm surprised by it either. Me just watching all the Barbie movies is already a sign of me liking Barbie movies. And I really thought that I was interested in FAIRYTOPIA, and I have no idea why I suddenly just don't have any interest in it. I'm also just very tired of the fungus, honestly. I just realized that I probably kind of have to watch all the movies again after this to edit this video. I hate myself. Look, this is something that I just don't get in the FAIRYTOPIA series. Everyone is just simply mean. And I get that a lot of them are just the actual antagonists or they get reformed, but at the first glance, at the first meetings, they're all just so mean. Did they really have a love interest for Bibble? I'm really trying not to be judgmental, I'm sorry. I do like her design as well, just the sons as well, but why do they all have such weird hairs? It really reminds me of Sunset Shimmer. Half hour into the movie, I realized I probably haven't seen this movie. Why do they have to be so competitive? They wouldn't have to, compete with each other to be one guardian, right? Because they're all different colors. She's actually flying with her hair. I do think it's nice that the Enchantress is taking the initiative to train them. See, I can also be positive about this movie. Okay, so this is the conclusion I'm making. This movie is pretty exciting, but I'm just not feeling it. But I think Barbie movies is really a nostalgia thing, because I can really imagine that people who grew up watching FAIRYTOPIA and the entire franchise of FAIRYTOPIA would be just in love with the movies. You've seen me watching Rapunzel and also Magic of Pegasus, and I can totally imagine if people dislike those movies. I think Barbie movies are just really a nostalgia thing. And again, I do have my flaws and problems with this movie, but it's not that I would judge other people for liking this movie instead of Magic of Pegasus or Rapunzel. This movie isn't really getting me excited or anything, but I do think this scene where they train for the dance but also performing the dance is really interesting. See, they're also creating the rainbow. They don't have to compete with each other this much because they have to work together. Elena is really the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? She's doing all the great things, she has all the great things, but everyone's just bullying her until she gets actual praise from the Enchantress and stuff. I think it's a shame that Elena doesn't have her crest of courage from Mermaidia. Imagine though, every time you do a good thing, tattoos just appear. Was it already gone at the end of Mermaidia? I can't remember. I didn't see it. I didn't notice it. So that was Barbie FAIRYTOPIA Magic of the Rainbow. And like I just ranted, I think it's really nostalgia what's just keeping me from liking this movie. We are only 10 movies in from 36 and I already lost in the rankings. I just have the ranking of movies that I like and movies that I don't. The Barbie movies feeling is just very defined by those classy, princessy movies. And I feel like Barbie Diaries and Fairytopia are just both not there. But Fairytopia is a little bit more over there. I'm gonna put this above Barbie Diaries. At this point, the Fairytopia movies are just one cluster of movies, like how Toy Story is also just literally one thing. But that's basically a franchise, right? Okay, I'm gonna put it below Fairytopia, the first one, because I do think at this point the storyline, the characters are just a little bit just beaten. What's the term? They're just milked out. I'm sorry. So next up we have a movie that I remember liking. I like the songs, that's what I know for sure. This is gonna be like Princess and the Pauper style musical. I think a really nice thing about the Barbie movies is that they got actual orchestras. I mean, probably all movies do this, but Barbie movies are probably just a very low budgeted created movies, and they just have very nice orchestral music.
When she wakes up, she can swim back to wherever she came from.
That peacock is savage. So I don't like comparing Barbie movies with the Disney movies, even though I have done it with Rapunzel, of course. But I think this movie can be very much compared to like Tarzan, The Little Mermaid, a little bit of Rapunzel, because they all just like have the want more song, the need to know, and also just the main character being so closed off from the real world, or just a different world. But I think that's why the Disney formula works, right? Oh, it's really nice to just hear a Barbie musical again after just all the other movies.
Princess Luciana, your bride to be.
Oh, Luciana is such a nice girl. Oh, her voice makes me so happy. I know I've been very negative the last few movies, but Luciana's voice just makes it all well. I've mentioned before that I'm really not a villains kind of person, so I have my mixed feelings about the song, but the only reason why I would listen to it is just to listen to Luciana's part. And I do think the toys that they made for Tika and the sisters were very cute, in which Tika actually could lift up the sisters. Ha, recognize that dress? I feel like there's this genre about dressing characters, and I love it. It's pretty random that suddenly the red panda knows a lot about fashion. My friend actually had the Island Princess doll, and like Swan Lake, I just love the texture of the dress. So in these few scenes in the background, you actually see some of the sisters from the 12 Dancing Princesses. I mean, if you think about it, in 12 Dancing Princesses, you just literally have the same woman figure, but just different hair color and different eye colors and just different color dresses. So it's just really easy to just make them blend into the background, I guess. This is a royal engagement ball and he's dancing with another woman. So I do have kind of a childhood story with this movie, because a lot of these movies premiered on Nickelodeon in the Netherlands, so on a random Saturday afternoon they would just show new Barbie movies. So we were just watching Barbie as the Island Princess and just enjoying the movie, but we never got to see the ending because my grandparents changed the channels and refused to give back the TV remote, so we never got to know the ending of Island Princess. And this was in 2007, so I was 9 back then, so I didn't have a lot of choice. So it took years before I actually got to see the ending of Island Princess. Why didn't she have her own song? I want her to sing. It's very awkward that the voice actress of Luciana, who is Candice Nicole, shares her name with another person that is not so family friendly. Yeah. I just want to know if she has more songs, because that's all I just really want to hear. Oh my god, I love this soundtrack, honestly. Maybe not the story level, but the musical level is really up on the same level as Princess and the Pauper. Maybe not as iconic or recognizable to people who watched Barbie movies, but it's just really pretty. So Melissa Lyons has been the singing voice of Barbie in multiple movies, including Princess and the Pauper and over here in Island Princess, and it just explains the very nice, smooth voice. Look at me, just pretending to be a voice analyst. Most of the music is written by Megan Cavalry for both Princess and the Pauper and Island Princess. The lyrics are also written by Amy Powers and Rob Hudnut. This explains why the quality of this music is so high, and why I just said that it really is equal to Princess and the Pauper's soundtrack. And again, with the combination of Melissa Lyons singing those songs, it just makes a perfect Barbie song.
I hope someone will look at me the way you look at Ron.
Is it bad that I'm getting teary-eyed at this? I like to read every trivia, fun facts on the Barbie movies wiki while I'm watching these movies for maybe some more research, more things to know. And apparently they say that this is the last movie that Barbie marries. But especially in the modern movies, Barbie's more a teenager rather than a woman who is about to get married. Okay, I'm gonna put this between Swan Lake and Nutcracker because I do like Swan Lake's story a lot. I do like Nutcracker's story, but I feel like Island Princess's story is just a little more unique. I have no idea what's happening right now. And we're continuing the Barbie celebration with Mariposa. So this is basically a spin-off of Fairytopia, in which Elena tells the story about Mariposa. And I'm very upset that the Wikipedia page for Barbie movies is saying that Barbie's role is Mariposa, which isn't correct, because in the beginning you see Elena telling the story about her friend Mariposa. So I do honestly already prefer Mariposa over the Fairytopia movies because I really like butterflies, so their wings and their designs are much more attractive to me. And if Mariposa's voice sounds familiar, she also voices Nori in Mermaidia, Raquel in Barbie Diaries, one of the sisters, Adeline in 12 Dancing Princesses, Erica in Rock'n Royals, and she has multiple smaller voice roles as well. We're back with the annoying animals. That's the most terrifying thing that can happen, just screaming babies. It's a little dangerous to have a whole kingdom rely on one person's health, right? But like, who knows, she will be actually executed on the spot and the entire kingdom goes dark and all the skizzids just eat all the fairies. The end. I think it's a little ironic or funny that Elena is explaining the story about Mariposa, a fairy who is feeling left out, while Elena herself has always been kind of excluded. Like, she was a fairy with no wings in a land of fairies. I've been really thinking about repainting dolls or just like restoring them, and I found Mariposa in a thrift store. And she looks great, so I really can't wait to just actually fix her hair and stuff, but I have no idea how and I'm too lazy to start. I do think I like this one better than Mermaidia, so it's just in between the movies I like and not really like. Next up we have another musical, which is Barbie and Diamond Castle. Again, we have two main characters who are like best friends and stuff. We are gonna have some catchy songs and annoying animals. From what I remember, I do like the movie, but there are just a few parts where I'm just getting a little annoyed. I feel like a radio host, just announcing the movies I'm gonna watch, then watch them and give a comment about it. I'm a really boring person, I'm very sorry. Ooh, I kind of forgot, like this is an actual Barbie tells the story kind of story. I think it's really sad that, you know, you have two friends having a business, but they just can't make it, and with the storm coming, everything just gets destroyed. So this song is actually an English cover of a Mexican group called RBD, and their song Tenert y Querrecht. I can't speak Spanish. So in this movie you have basically Teresa and Barbie telling the story together to Stacy. But I think it's a lovely notice that Teresa the doll was introduced in 1988, and this movie was in 2008, so it's like a 20 years anniversary. Do you think every time a band breaks up, this kind of thing happens? Ooh, if you look at the scene where they meet the homeless person, there's actually the broken flute is in the bag as well. Oh no, not those dogs. For now they're cute, but later I get so annoyed with them. This doesn't make sense. Alright, they're also gonna throw boys in there. This is a story that's about friendship, and then you have dancing dogs, and you have the most annoying male characters in the Barbie movie, and just ruins an alright movie. They added so many unnecessary sounds to the dogs. It's really unnecessary. Look, the squad of annoying characters have returned. Oh, I do like Princess Liana's dress. Very nice colors. I'm no expert in dresses or transformations or voices or anything, but I'm just sharing my opinion on Barbie movies, I guess. I don't like the guys, I don't like the dogs. I just wanted a nice story about friendship between Melody, Liana, and Alexa. I just imagined Anna Kendrick being the perfect Melody for some reason. Oh, I love the waltz. They can never put enough waltzes and dances and ballet pas de deux in the Barbie movies. I won't get tired of them. But those damn break-dancing dogs. So I do like it better than Mariposa, but not better than 12 Dancing Princesses. So now we've got Barbie and a Christmas Carol, which is of course based on Christmas Carol from Charles Dickens. It's still in packaging, so I'm not sure if I've watched it, maybe online or just not at all. That's a very fancy dress, honestly. I really like this look Barbie has right now. So a thing you just start slowly noticing throughout the new Barbie movies is the change of her face. It's not really that long and thin anymore, but it's slowly getting more oval. The eyes are getting bigger. But I think it's happening really smoothly, because in the later movies we can see some extreme changes. Like, of course, we had Barbie Diaries, where they just changed the entire animation style. But throughout all the Barbie movies we can see just a big change of Barbie's face. Anyways, this is gonna be another narration from Barbie herself to Kelly, who is of course upset about anything. Oh, and I'm very curious if there are gonna be some Barbie movie Christmas songs rendition that I can put on my playlist that I can play for the entire year. I don't celebrate Christmas a lot, but I love Christmas songs. So I'm not sure if Barbie is supposed to be the character of Eden Starling because they gave her a different voice actor, but the singing voice is still Melissa Lyons. I'm confused already. Official summary says, the tale stars Barbie as Eden Starling, the glamour singing diva blah blah blah. So I think it is to be assumed that Barbie is Eden, but I don't get why they didn't put Kelly Sheridan as Eden. I'm just really bothered by the continuity of the Barbie movies, because Teresa and Summer also appear as actors in the movies, but they don't have actual continuity in voice actors, which is really bothersome. So Spirit of Christmas Past is a character that's usually be kind of annoying, but I really like her. And she's also voiced by Tabitha St-Germain, who is also known as Rarity. I love My Little Pony, so that's why I just really like the voice actors of a lot of Barbie movies, because there's a lot of overlap over there. Kelly Sheridan is now Starlight Glimmer on the show, which is pretty cool. I had no idea about it. That's heartbreaking. I really feel for Eden right now. I must say I'm pretty hooked in this movie. I think that's just why Christmas Carol is just so successful with the concept of the past, the present, and the future. And Barbie is just making its own version. Oh, this is such a feel-good movie. I really like it. I think the story has a very important message, and I'm alright that they translate it to so many different mediums like the Muppets, but also My Little Pony and Barbie. So if I'm right, basically Nikki had the role of Catherine in the story. Like I said, how Teresa was Princess Alexa, and these examples you can also find in Musketeers, but also many other movies. I expected more original Barbie Christmas songs. They had one, like the pageant that they had, but I think that one will be more in the perfect Christmas movie. I think I do prefer 12 Dancing Princesses, but I do prefer this above Diamond Castle, so it's currently taking the 8th place where Diamond Castle was placed. So the next one is also still in its packaging, but I know that I've already watched this one, and I'm gonna be straightly honest, I don't like this one. Well, that's from what I remember. This story is in a very modern setting, and it just tries to be too cool and stuff. Barbie Thumbelina, 15th movie to watch. So in this story, Barbie is not Thumbelina, because again, different voice actor. I know it's not a strong argument, the voice actor thing, but at the end of the movie, I think they show us a scene in which Barbie actually sees the flitter thingies. Okay, I think that was my biggest annoyance with this movie. Those spoiled friends and just the spoiled families and spoiled humans. And I know they are supposed to be annoying and the bad guys, but my parents bought me an island today. That's just So I do think the plot is a little similar like Great Fairy Rescue, where the humans actually interact with the magical creatures. But over there's this family bond, and there's no need to be bragging about your spoiled personality and all the things you get and the trending and your BFFs. And that's something that makes me very annoyed with this movie, I guess. I think the overall topic of environmentalism is very interesting though. Because protecting the environment is still a very actual topic to discuss. And Barbie in the beginning is also just planting more plants and flowers to help the environment, but also help the Twillerbees, the creatures from nature. I'm gonna plant some flowers soon. It's very nice weather nowadays. Okay, this movie isn't that bad as I remembered. And in the end, it has an important message. And I think it's very nice that McKenna actually dropped Violet, because Violet is a toxic... I'm not gonna use bad words in this video. You know, if Twillerbees existed in the real world, it would have made nature perseverance a lot easier. I am surprisingly gonna put this movie between Mariposa and Mermaidia, because while I don't love the movie, it wasn't as bad. And it has an important message. Protect the nature, guys. One of my personal favorites, Three Musketeers. But I did watch a review from a guy who had a critical eye to this movie, and I'm afraid that I can't unsee all those flaws, because this movie is one of my favorites from the Barbie movies, but I'm not sure if it's still gonna be. So in Magic of Pegasus, I was really fawning over Barbie wearing red rather than pink, and again, she's wearing red, and I really like those colors. Anyways, so this is kind of a movie that they really show as a movie that Barbie plays in as a different character. For Christmas Carol and Barbie and Three Musketeers, Barbie actually did an interview with Leah Weathersby from Amazon.com, where they actually talk about filming for Barbie and the Three Musketeers. And I talked about her friends also being actresses in this fictional universe. And again, in the interview, they talk about Teresa, Summer, Nikki, and her being actresses in this movie. I think this movie is also very much girl power, female empowerment wise, but in a very classy, old school Barbie style. And the movie setting is in France and Paris, and that gets me going. I have a lot of things that I strongly like, and especially when Barbie movies hit those strong points, I'm just fawning over the movie. But watching the review that I saw on YouTube, it does bring a lot of self-awareness around this movie. So I've played violin for a little while, and I think Barbie has kind of been a big motivator. Not only some characters play violin, but also just the use of Tchaikovsky and classical music in the Barbie movies made me desire to gain that skill to also play that kind of music. But that's a story for another day. I think overall this is just a very pretty movie. Like the other movies got a little very pink, very saturated. But this movie really has the Swan Lake Rapunzel vibes, just the very neutral, well-blended colors. But maybe that's just me. So I just talked about several strong liking points that Barbie movies seem to hit with me, and Renee, the girl who also plays violin, also does archery in this movie, and I love archery. That's like a bucket list thing for me to do on a regular basis. I'm just happy to see some archery happening in the movies. If I look at the list of Barbie movies, I feel like from now on, most of the movies are in the modern setting. It's sad, but it's obvious that Barbie really wants to move forward and relate to younger audiences. In my ranking by heart, this was my top favorite movie, but I think for now, also looking back at all the movies that I've watched now, I'm gonna put it on the second place between Barbie as Rapunzel and Magic of Pegasus. It hurts to put it on the second place. Not only am I putting Pegasus on the third place now, but I really love Three Musketeers. Next up, we have Barbie and the Mermaid Tale, which is also confirmed basically by Barbie that it's a fictional movie in the Barbie universe. I really like the design of the mother, and I think in Mermaid Tale 2 they have more designs, detailed mermaid designs, and I'm very excited to see those. She just breathes underwater. And she also just talked to a dolphin, and then she doesn't believe that her mom may be a mermaid. It's a pretty fun concept that they can just switch out, or have at least covers for their tails, just to have this complete look. And instead of having the tail be part of your skin. It's a little weird that one of the important creatures has a denim tail. I mean, they're all three just very stylized, but one has a denim tail. While the songs are maybe not as good as The Princess and the Pauper or Island Princess, it's very catchy. Is it a pun? Mermaid tail and tail? I don't have a lot to say about this movie because it's just a very general Barbie movie. Modern tale, she discovers she's royalty, saves the day, saves her family, the kingdom, and everything, makes new friends, just like any other Barbie movie. I'm gonna put this above Diamond Castle because I do feel like Christmas Carol is a movie I really enjoyed. In this movie we have a different voice actress for Barbie, who is Diana Karina, and this is basically because Barbie went through the rebranding and just a general different direction and wanted a new voice for Barbie. So we did have Barbie Diaries, but this is basically the second time that Barbie is Barbie for the entirety of the movie. So I can already say that this one is one of the movies that I do like because it's in Paris, and I love Paris. I think after watching it I might just rank it lower than I usually would, but I like the idea that she's in Paris. Why do they break physics for dogs? I think that's my biggest pet peeve from the Barbie movies. So there we have the confirmation that she also acted in Barbie and the Three Musketeers. So this was a kind of a canonically confirming movie. I feel like I'm just watching a simply neological video because literally the only thing the closet does is just add glitter. Which, if you see closely, it's actually hollow glitter, and Simply Neological is known to just put hollow top coats on top of everything. This is a struggle I have so many times. When you travel with the bus or the trains here in the Netherlands, it's always about those 1 minutes. I mean, her designs are not bad either, but just because she's the bad person, they're just not gonna work for her. This is a very saturated movie. They just literally created life. The last few days I've seen a lot of Barbie movies that are much better. I'm gonna put it between Christmas Carol and MERMAID, I think. It has a lot of positives that make me happy. But Christmas Carol was a very good movie, honestly. That made me very happy. So the next one is A Fairy Secret, which is a continuation of Fashion Fairy Tale, because it has a lot of similar characters, and again, it's in real life. I think the goal of this video is also just to bring awareness to the lesser known movies, because everyone talks about Swan Lake, everyone talks about Princess and the Pauper, but I do feel like movies like Barbie Diaries or the newest ones are just non-existent in many of rankings or just lists. Which on one side is understandable because there are movies that are objectively better, but it's also nice to know which movies are out there. I think it was in this movie that people joked about how Barbie would actually be eating. It's kind of funny how Ken is just like a very innocent, try-hard guy in these two movies. I think it's a funny running joke that Graciela can't say his name, which are literally 3 letters. He has pretty wings though. They're very glittery and very nice. Ah, we recognize her, right? So basically just like in Mermaid Tale, they can just buy wings if they just don't like the look or if they don't have wings at all. I think it's very cute that the woman is actually also just a human who married a fairy and has no problem at all staying in Los Angeles. Oh, very pretty wings though. So I'm gonna put it above Fashion Fairy Tale. That's a very sweet ending. So now we have Barbie Princess Charm School. So I watched this movie a lot of times because I do really like it. I really like the designs, the characters, but also that this is kind of a new Barbie film that really has kind of the charms of a classic Barbie movie. And as I mentioned before, I do like just the royal etiquette stuff that's explained throughout movies, not only in Barbie, but for example in Brave as well. So I don't mind a movie that's really about learning how to be a royal princess, I guess. They should have just sent out the 12 dancing princesses towards this school, as they were kind of very messy. So a lot of movies have this mean character turn good, like Nori from MERMAIDIA. And normally I'm kind of a little annoyed by them, but I really like Delancey. But maybe that's because she's so down to earth at the end of the movie. Asian representation! I might be a little bitter that they don't have the doll for Ida, but a few years ago I did see the Delancey doll and I really wanted to buy it, but I didn't get to it because it was expensive and I'm not a doll collector in the end. I really like the coronation scene. I want one of those tiaras though. And I really like the dresses. Like, they are very shimmery and shiny in this movie. But especially the one that Delancey is wearing and later the main characters are wearing. I really like the top and the bottom of that. Also, her necklace is very pretty and their hair is fantastic. Oh, the crown is really pretty. There are so many props in this movie that are just really well made and very pretty, and I just want to recreate all of them.
I would be honored.
Oh, this is such a beautiful moment. I love it.
Lady Royal Delancey of Gardania.
Oh, these dresses are amazing. This is such a catchy song, even though it's not even that great. Okay, for me it's great. I love it. The reason why I like princess movie is because of those movies that tell more about the duties as being a royal. Like, would I count this one as one of those movies? Maybe not. But movies such as Brave, Princess Protection Program, Princess Diaries really goes more into the responsibilities of being a princess, and those are some movies that make me appreciate the princess genre. I think I'm gonna put it between Swan Lake and Island Princess. Let's just say I'm having difficulties with ranking all the movies, especially watching them in a chronological order. Next up we have a movie that I haven't really seen because it's still in its packaging. So that means I'm not entirely sure whether I've seen it or not. But the thing is, they really define the sisters in this movie. Okay, so I must say that on first sight, I don't really like how they did the faces. You know, this movie was released in the end of 2011, while the first episode of Barbie Life in the Dream House was in begin of 2012. So I think while they created this movie, they were also already developing Barbie Life in the Dream House. So I kind of wanted to wait until the end of the Barbie binge before I would talk about Barbie Life in the Dream House. But since the sisters are kind of already explained in this movie, I do want to say that if you don't like Barbie movies, I would still give Barbie Life in the Dream House a chance. You know, all the Barbie movies are really girly, really aimed to the small children. Barbie Life in the Dream House is a literal mockumentary about Barbie as a brand. Being self-aware, they know they're plastic, and they're just overly obsessed with glitter and having clothes. There's just a lot of self-aware humor, and I think Barbie Life in the Dream House is probably the best animated thing they did for Barbie. I personally don't watch the Dream House adventures that they have now, or the Barbie vlogs, but I just love rewatching the Barbie Life in the Dream House episodes. Well, at least they're having a white Christmas. Oh man, I much prefer these reindeer dogs over breakdancing dogs any day. Okay, that's very cute. Wow, actual physics a dog can do. Learn from that fashion fairy tale. Okay, I'm very glad that Christy Clausen was just a very innocent woman who knows the meaning of Christmas. And then at the end, everyone got their perfect Christmas. I'm really glad there wasn't a true villain or anything in this movie. And that the sisters just discovered the true meaning of Christmas on their own. I must say, with the animation, it doesn't really feel like a Barbie movie. Like, it just literally took this dress before I realized I was watching a Barbie movie. I just hope the band gets some popularity, I guess, because they've been performing in the dark. Why do they shake their heads so much while singing? I am gonna put this movie between the movies I don't like that much. I'm very happy how the movie went, but it's not something memorable for me. So I might as well just put it between Diamond Castle and Mariposa. I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. What do you mean I still have 15 movies to go? So we're back with the sequel of MERMAIDTALE, which is MERMAIDTALE 2. I actually bought this DVD twice because I gave the first one as a gift to a friend who also likes Barbie movies. So in this movie, Kelly Sheridan actually returned as Barbie. Probably as a continuation of Mermaid Tale 1, but I think the producers also realized that people really prefer Kelly Sheridan as Barbie, so Kelly returned for a lot of movies. I kind of had a surfing phase. Like, I wouldn't actually surf, but I was very interested in the sport itself. I think it just started with watching Hawaii Five-0, and I got this Polynesian loving face. But I mean, I live in the Netherlands, we don't have big waves around here, and honestly, I'm not that much of a water person. I love mermaids, but I don't like swimming. Kylie's voice is very easily recognizable because of Rainbow Dash and Applejack. The struggles of a sequel. You'll have people who are once at peace fighting. My favorite part of this movie are the outfits of these mermaids. They're really creative, I think. After watching all these Barbie movies, I feel like I'm such a bad fan because I do have my criticisms and I do have my dislikes. But I'm dedicated to get through this. She could stab someone with that. Do you think she killed someone with that? So my brain is entirely fried and I have no idea why I want to play this. This is why I don't fit on YouTube. I shouldn't be making these kind of videos. I'm just gonna put it above Mermaid Tale. At this point, those Fairytopia movies, Mariposa movies, Mermaid Tales and other sequels all just belong as a cluster with their original movie. So that's why I'm gonna put Mermaid Tale above Mermaid Tale 2. Are you really tired of me? Because I am. For some reason, I do think this is one of the most hated Barbie movies. Why, you ask? Well, it's a remake of Princess and the Pauper. So, like most of the movies, this is probably just a fictional movie within the Barbie universe. But instead of having them basically played by Barbie, this time we do have two different actresses. I do think to be a princess, Princess and the Popstar edition is kind of catchy. I know they slaughtered the original, but oh my god, this is gonna be another sparkly movie. Oh, I think the rendition of Princesses Just Wanna Have Fun, like Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, is so cute. I must say, the dresses are not really that pretty. Apparently this is Britney Spears' favorite movie. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. This is about being a pop star. I think she can relate. So I've talked about movies with princess and royal responsibilities, and I do think it's just a little disrespectful. It's the typical I'm a princess and I'm not gonna do anything kind of movie. If it's not obvious yet, this is a very similar scene to Free. I mean, they need the similarities with Princess and the Pauper. Of course, we have the villain reveal, because what else is new? Okay, that's a very ugly dress that Victoria is wearing. Okay, so that's the thing in this movie, because it's all about being a pop star. There's a lot of modern dances. Is it called modern dances? Anyway, just like street dance type of dances. And I think in this movie it just looks very awkward. We've seen a few examples already before in Princess Charm School, but in this movie they do it a lot. And it just cringes me out. I think the thing that made the old Barbie movies great was that it's not that much Barbie-like. Like having neutral colors, neutral dresses, and not like those I live like Barbie in my pink dream house. The thing with Princess and the Pauper is they actually had a reason why they switched roles. But at this point they are just changing because they just want to. Let's just say I have very mixed feelings about this song. About the entire movie. The fun thing is, Erica is an anagram of Kira. At least they have each other's dogs to help them. So I know I do praise Amy Powers, Rob Hudnut for amazing songwriting skills for Barbie movies, but it just doesn't hit me. But that's alright. I mean, I know there are gonna be a lot of people who actually like these songs. I personally also have my songs that I like that are not even that great. I'm gonna mark it as a movie that I don't like. It's not that I really hate with a passion any of these movies. I think I'm gonna put this between Diamond Castle and Perfect Christmas. You know, even if this is not a successful video, which it probably isn't, I tried very hard. 24th movie, 12 movies to go. We have the pink shoes. As you can see, I actually have the doll. This was on sale for €9, so I just had to get it. But I talked about my friends having Barbie dolls from the movies, but this may be my very first Barbie doll that I bought a few years ago. So I like this movie because of it being about ballet, but I'm just so sad that they changed up the faces so much. I mean, this movie is also directed by Owen Hurley, who did the first 3 ones. Unfortunately, this is also the last Barbie ballet movie that's currently being released. They could just make an entire movie out of Giselle, I think. It's kind of an unknown story, I don't know the story. But I mean, they also do Swan Lake in this movie. They also feature the Snow Queen and the Nutcracker in this movie, so it's just kind of a mashup of different stories, different ballets, which I do think is very interesting. Oh, I love this dance though. I watched so many YouTube videos of people performing this. That looks so hard to do as a dancer. You know, I just got back from work yesterday and my legs just hurt from walking all day, but oh, ballet dancer, they are just on another level. I really enjoy the ballet performances in this movie. Oh man, I just really want another ballet movie. So bad. You know, I do like her, but the random zooms and the whole weird, quirky movements are just... it just puts me off this movie. But it's good that she's there just to kind of keep Kirsten a little bit down on her feet. I wonder if they brought in the Snow Queen because of Frozen, but this movie was released before Frozen. I do think it's pretty funny that Siegfried / Dylan is voiced by Brad Deer, which is that nice character of Jane the Virgin. But then something happened and I stopped watching. Beautiful shot, oh my god. They remind me of the 2 princes in Into the Woods who just are randomly friends and very full of themselves. I do wish they just gave her a different outfit just to blend more with the crowd. But also just to give her a costume change. So there's a small reference to Wizard of Oz, which doesn't surprise me because of the whole traveling thing, wearing shoes. But I wonder if there's also kind of a reference to the fairy tale Red Shoes, in which there's this whole concept of keep on dancing and they dance forever, feet get chopped off. And if I go to Wikipedia, which I don't fully trust of course, but it says that Barbie and the Pink Shoes is loosely based on the fairy tale of the Red Shoes. And I mean, if you have the main song called Keep on Dancing, it is kind of ironic, right? This was not necessary. I have mixed feelings about Barbie's character in a few movies being kind of irresponsible by saying, hell, this is not what I want to do, I'm just doing it my way. Oh, I do love this performance. And this might be my favorite dress transformation. Oh, she looks beautiful. And I actually have the doll. I can't dance. Let's just say that I love ballet dances and just love seeing the Barbie performances, but I can't dance at all. So while I don't mind there being sudden background dances, Kirsten being someone who creates her moves along the way, it's just kind of weird that all of these background dancers also know the choreography. I am actually gonna put this movie pretty high because while I think movies like Island Princess and Barbie Nutcracker are amazing, I really enjoy just putting this movie in the background or just watching it on a random day. So I'm actually gonna put it between Island Princess and Barbie Nutcracker. You know, a lot of Barbie movies wouldn't work in the real world, but which movie does? So now we're back with Mariposa, the fairy princess. I don't know, this DVD is in Dutch. And now I'm confused because now they actually put Kelly Sheridan as Mariposa. So basically everything I said in the first Mariposa movie isn't correct anymore. And now Mariposa is Barbie. This is a very pretty intro though. I do like this better than having an actual recap of the movie. And I think it's cute that Mariposa chose to become a royal historian. That's a beautiful city. I'm really digging this movie, honestly.
Stand back. This is a very fragile. Whoa.
Ouch, that hurts. That is a very nice dress though. The only reason why I'm watching Barbie movies is ballet, dress transformations, and pretty dresses. And nice songs. This plotline kind of reminds me of the Crystal Ponies from My Little Pony. Also the thing about King Sombra just freezing the kingdom. I need to know who designed these dresses because I'm just in awe by them. So doing some research, I want to kind of bring attention to Nicole Garber, one of the designers of this movie. She also worked on Secret Door, Pearl Princess, and Princess Power. Nicole Garber is also the person who kind of created the storybook aesthetics, and she made some amazing art for the movies. In a good way, it is similar to the plot of My Little Pony saving the Crystal Ponies, but I love that story. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it between 12 Dancing Princesses and A Christmas Carol, I think. We've got a horse movie coming up. So this is another Barbie as herself movie, and she brings along her sisters. So this movie was also released during the time that Barbie Life in the Dream House was very successful, I think. That's why you really see this similar animation style. I mean, this is gonna be the typical tame the wild horse story. This movie does make me miss horseback riding. I did it for a while. So I guess with this movie being called Ponytail, I think that's also just a pun on an actual ponytail. Because you're small and you're gonna fall off hard if you have a big horse. I would have been interested in that. I would have listened throughout the entire thing. I'm glad he didn't turn or was revealed as a villain or something, because he's just the very passionate horseman. Well, at least they're wearing helmets and proper riding gears. That makes me happy. Every little equestrian's dream is to just find a wild horse and tame it. Oh, I think this is such a lovely scene. Like I said, he's just a passionate horseman. I love how, like in Mariposa, they have a different animation style to tell the story. Don't break physics again, guys. Well, this goes straight against her development with Dash. Well, that's realistic. I'm gonna put it between Christmas Carol and Fairy's Secret. I mean, it has a lot of horse and equestrian aesthetics, which, if you've seen my previous video, is my style. We're now in 2014, and this is a movie I've been looking very much forward to rewatch. So I watched this movie a few times, and I do think this is one of those newer Barbie movies that really feels like a classic. But at the same time, the story does feel a little similar, like Rapunzel, you know, with the lost princess trope. But I really enjoyed this movie. I think this is also my favorite mermaid movie. I don't have much to say about this movie again, but I do think it's a very nice one. I like that concept that they have like mermaid dresses. It's really cute. I think generally the story is just nice to follow, also nice resolved. She could really kill someone with those pearls. I really don't have much to say because I just think it's a nice story, nice visuals. I mean, at this point I'm just desensitized to all the pinkish colors. But even though it doesn't excites me, I do think it's just a very nice movie. I think I'm gonna put it between 12 Dancing Princesses and MARIPOSA Fairy Princess. So the credits has the song Light Up Your World, and I think that's also one of my favorite Barbie movie songs. It's just very inspirational. So this movie was released in 2014, which is actually the time period where I got back into liking Barbie movies. That's also where I really started to collect all of these DVDs. But I already had some like from thrift shops, secondhand, or I just bought them in stores because those are the more cheaper movies to buy on DVD. But I think, again, Barbie is very visually pleasing, and something they reduced a lot in the real world is the color pink, which is very lovely. I mean, once we go through the secret door, it goes back to the saturated colors. But I think overall the movie is just very nice to watch. Do you recognize this face? Yeah. I also just want to say I didn't buy all the DVDs in 2014, but it was just the accumulation between 2013-14 until like 2017 or something before I decided to stop buying DVDs. Magic of Pegasus was the first one I bought myself, but before that I had the first 3 on Chinese DVDs, but there are no subtitles. My Chinese was terrible, so I had no idea what was happening. But that's how I grew up with the first 3 Barbie movies and Magic of Pegasus. So over here we have 2 new characters, and I mean they're probably again Teresa and Summer acting, but I love these 2. Like, as a human form I really like Romy, because again she's doing archery, but in the original form I just love Nori's design. Shamelessly, this is my favorite song from the movie, but maybe because it's about Romy and Nori's story. I'm tolerating the pop dances, okay? This could actually be like an actual war movie. Like, everything is pink and frilly, but imagine though, you have actual war zones. But as you can see, they actually have like systems to distract those sniffers, and they live in the trees, and they have weapons. For a brand that is really about female empowerment, but also the brand itself is very feminine, it's kind of strange that it took 27 movies before they actually had a female director. And again, I don't know how much value a director has in these kind of animation movies, because being a director means different things for each movie. But it's just a little strange to think about. I do like this reprise, honestly. It's just sung very delicately. I mean, with a lot of auto-tune, but I'm not gonna care. I think these kind of moves are always so risky when you sacrifice your powers because you think it's just gonna be too much for the person taking the power. Oh, look at Nori's design. I love anything with Romy and Nori in it. Alexa is now confident, but we have to say goodbye to Nori and Romy, unfortunately. I personally really like this movie, so I'm gonna give it a spot within the top 10. I think I'm gonna put it above Pink Shoes, because I do think Island Princess is a very strong musical. I think the very nice thing about the new Barbie movies is that they get the texture really right. When you just looked at the dress of the mom, those poofy things look really accurate and nice. It was nice to see this movie after basically not watching Barbie movies for a very long time. But at the same time, I don't know if I really had a hiatus. Well, because I think I've always watched them once in a year at least. Well, it took 28 movies, but it's the first time that we're gonna watch one that I don't have on DVD. Okay, I'm gonna be very honest, but I hate the faces in here. This might be the first movie that I truly hate, but I remember watching it for the first time where I was like, it's not that bad. Which is basically a summary of all my Barbie reviews. Even those that I expect to hate a lot, I just dislike them strongly, but I don't hate them. Maybe it's just something they tried, but I feel like they tried very hard to mimic kind of the Disney CGI princesses or the CGI girls, because suddenly her face is very round, very big eyes, and oh my god, the hair of those two girls, it's just very crazy. Oh, she's right. I don't know if I'm gonna survive this movie because it's very boring right now. Is this entire movie just gonna be a Spider-Man reference since she got basically kissed by a bug? I feel so guilty whenever I don't like a Barbie movie. Not against people who do like these movies, but also just to myself because I do like Barbie movies, and also to Barbie's brand. Like, it's Barbie's 60th anniversary and I'm here just being annoyed by some of these movies. That's a very long tongue. Yeah, Nutcracker. At least they make references to Nutcracker a few times. That dress is the only thing that does this movie a little bit of justice. They're not even weirded out about the fact that she has superpowers. The question is, do I think this is worse or Barbie Diaries? Seeing as the Barbie Diaries movie actually got me hooked, I do think that I'm gonna put this one on the bottom. I'm casually gonna put this one here already because I can't wait to watch this one. At least it's a good thing that they can make a garden out of the entire city because of volcanoes' ashes being so fertile. Oh man. I'm sorry, Princess Power fans. I'm just gonna quickly go to the next movie. I'm very excited to see this movie again. I really like Rock'n Royals. So this movie got actually promoted a lot to people outside of the target group basically because suddenly you saw a lot of people being sponsored to perform Raise Our Voices, the song. Like Tiffany Alvord had a cover, Little Mix had a collaboration. I remember one of the violinists that I was subscribed to releasing a cover. So this movie got compared a lot to like Princess and the Popstar because again you have like a princess camp and you have like the Popstar camp. Musically wise, this was also compared to Camp Rock and Pitch Perfect. I enjoy this music for what it is. So they have a lot of waltzes in this movie and I love that. And surprisingly, this is probably the only movie where I completely tolerate the modern dances. I think again because the environment isn't that saturated, so it doesn't look as awkward. And the animation improved so much, I think, and I don't mind it in this movie. This is also probably one of my favorite modern Barbie movies. I think also both camps are designed so well, like, you of course have the castle, but the music camp is so creatively designed. Well, her design is a little over the top, but I love that girl. She has cowboy boots. Oh, I love those layers on the dresses. It's pretty awesome that they're getting classes on special effects, just concert creating and production, I guess. I love this transformation. So cute. Aww, that's honestly heartbreaking though. Oh, look at these two. I love this combination of these two. I love to listen to this version depending on my mood, which is a lot of times though. Is it me or were there no annoying animals in this movie? How great did that feel? Oh, I would love to put this in my top 5, but I think I'm just gonna put it on the 6th place. 31st movie, Barbie and her sisters in a great puppy adventure. So in this movie they're going to Willows, which is a fictional city where Barbie grew up. I must say the puppies are very cute. It's very annoying. I'm like the old dog right now. I think this is my favorite part of the movie.
Let me enter when I was 10. That kid with the tiny volcano experiment never stood a chance.
Just making fun of the fact that Barbie had like 50 jobs. How is a tablet supposed to detect metal? This movie is called The Puppy Adventure, but in the end, I don't feel like they're supposed to have a role in the entire treasure hunt. Oh my god, I'm getting very tired of these two. I don't have much to say about this movie because I do think it's kind of boring. I don't know, it's just a regular treasure hunt. Everything falls into the right place. You have villains who are freaking stupid, and you have puppies who are very capable of doing anything. Of course they're gonna save the city, of course they're gonna find the treasure. I'm gonna put it on spot 30 of 31. It's pretty cute that Taffy, like Barbie's puppy, is also like Taffy in Barbie Life in the Dream House. Continuity, gotta do something with it. Now on to Barbie's Spy Squad, the last movie that I actually have on DVD. I've watched it before, I think once or twice, and I do like it. I do think it's interesting that they used gymnastics, because that's something we haven't seen before, because we had ballet, we had ice skating even. And I do think the reasons that they are chosen to be spies is a good choice, because they are very athletic. I don't know anything about gymnastics. I must say that one underrated movie is Stick It, which is a movie about gymnastics, and I really like that one. I assume Renee also played Isla in Princess Charm School, but furthermore there are not many Asian characters in Barbie movies, I think.
What are you doing here?
Well, that's a transformation. Kinda forgot to mention, but the sad thing about Great Puppy Adventure is that it was the last movie where Kelly Sheridan was Barbie, basically. Because now we have Erica Lynn back as Barbie. That's such a funny thing about the English language though. They're using you. Like in Dutch we have you in an informal situation, we have you in a formal situation, and we have you as a plural. 3 different words. And in English it's all you. I understand this confusion. It's a weird thing about English. I like this movie, but I'm so burned out. As a child, I did watch a lot of Totally Spies, so seeing this movie wasn't that bad either. Them using the word squad is maybe a little cringy, but overall I do like the outfits, I do like their gadgets, the whole setup. So I'm currently may not be in the mood to watch this movie, but overall it's a very nice movie. Oh man, I am wishing for that kind of strength though. Oh, that's one beautiful dress. I think it's pretty awesome that they're using motorbikes in this movie. So I'm gonna put this movie between Christmas Carol and Ponytail. I'm really in the mood to watch Stick It now, because I haven't seen that movie in forever. And it's not on Netflix anymore. I'm surprised why she's not competing. Probably just out of fairness, I guess. Okay, so now we have the big finale with 4 movies I haven't seen. With the 33rd being Starlight Adventure. So back before it was released, I actually watched a trailer of it, and I was very excited because it looked very promising and very nice. I like how it's going right now. I like its suit. I realize I really like this suit. Is this gonna be a Star Wars movie? So the last few movies are also just Barbie starring as herself. And now I'm weirded out because this is a space movie. The funny thing is I'm going to a bird park tomorrow, so I love me some bird feeding sessions. Are they gonna use the Force? This is so out of character, honestly. Is she like the galactic Snow White or something? With all the animals coming up while she sings. I think it's cute though. I'm very amused by this movie, honestly. Oh, that's a nice girl power. Oh my god, it's actual popcorn. I'm in awe. I love this. She's dancing with the stars. That was a beautiful sequence. I'm really doubting where I want to place this in the top 10, but I feel like I really want to place this in the top 5. I feel like this violin music is done by its popular person. I wouldn't be surprised if Lindsay Sterling is in it or something. Ah, there we go, we have Lindsay over there. I knew when I heard the violin, I just knew it was Lindsay. Because this is such a different movie compared to the classic ballet and musical movies. I'm just gonna be brave and put it on the 4th spot. Do I expect anything fun from this movie? I don't even know at this point. Starlight Adventure was a very refreshing movie, honestly. And now we're back on an island for a dance competition, and as I see the description, they're going to a dancing horse festival. What is Barbie even wearing in this movie? Oh man, I don't like where this is going. They don't have their bags, they're riding in a golf cart and they're losing their map and they don't have GPS. Something is going to go very, very wrong. It's been a long while since I did horses and being in the equestrian world, but I really like the aesthetics of bridles without the bit. So as you can see, there's no bit that goes through the mouth. It's not even about the ethical issues or anything, but it just looks very cute, and it's probably on the ethical side also better for the horses. Please don't dance, please don't dance. Who thinks it's smart to let puppies roam around freely on their own? They're literally children on the loose. They were already lacking time on this island, and now they're actually having to chase down those puppies. You know, at this point it's not surprising that I'm slightly annoyed with a lot of pets in those movies. And I know because they're cute they will sell more toys, but I can't deal with them anymore. I think it's good to see that Barbie does make mistakes and has her flaws.
I don't know what else to do.
Especially when everything in a lot of movies just goes very smoothly, very perfectly. Barbie movies really got into the tap dancing thing.
And we have chosen a winner.
Wait! I'm here!
Please deal with it. Please just deal with it. Oh no. This is very unfair for the girl who just performed. Oh man, I might just rant about this movie right now. I think it's very brave that they took the route that Barbie did admit that she made the mistake and that she did kind of ruin the vacation because it could have been so much more easier. And they ended up being late for the competition, and I did wish they would just deal with it. And you know, the trophy was already being handed towards the winner, who was on time, who was there. There are consequences, even if it's very unfortunate. Things can always go wrong. And now this performance is becoming a group performance, and if she actually wins this, I'm gonna put this movie on the bottom. I'm sorry, but they were already handing the trophy towards Lindsay, I think, who, I mean, did a great performance on her own. And I must say this performance is very cute, but it would be very unfair if Chelsea actually won it. And they're also having fizz, and they're also having dancing dogs. I think a lot of movies have this problem in which people who actually worked hard for the entire life, or just work very hard, lose their spot because of mostly Barbie's role just coming by for a second and scooping it with her talent or whatever. So it does make it less bitter that Lindsay is actually the person giving the prize. But it's just it teaches a bad lesson. I feel like I might be a hypocrite. I don't know if there's a current bias going on to the puppy movies, but I really don't like the way they handled this. Maybe it's also just a build-up from a lot of movies in which the same thing happens where consequences are not dealt with. This movie hit a lot of lows. You know, the movie was just alright, a little bit boring, but alright. Then it got a little better because Barbie was actually apologizing for making mistakes. Then they were late for the competition, then they got to perform, which is alright if the prize was already given, but it wasn't. But it was about to. Again, probably I'm just hypocritical because this situation happens a lot in the other movies as well, but I think it just hit the new low for me, and for other movies there was some redeemable aspect. So I'm just gonna put it on the bottom. So from what I've seen on pictures, I'm kind of scared of this movie because I have no idea what to expect, and it's very pixely. It's maybe a little bit more similar to Wreck-It Ralph, I don't know. I do like the return of Renee and Teresa as her friends, basically. I mean, seeing as esports is somewhat trending for the last few years, I understand that they make kind of a video game movie. Are they going the Wreck-It Ralph direction? Ooh, there's theme park on the back. Oh man, I'm scared. I'm very, very scared.
The emoji virus is what it is called, and our entire world it will overhaul.
They're actually using the word emoji. Please don't go the emoji movie direction.
Not cute.
I'm not sure if the animation is supposed to be a little bit laggy, or that my laptop is just very slow right now. Animation is kind of inspired by anime, I think. Just with the way they all move, basically. Like, is that a Calyx cabinet from IKEA? After the last movie of Puppy Chase, I don't know how to feel about Barbie winning right now, because the goal is that she has to win every game. And now the other two are aware of this. So I'm feeling very conflicted right now, honestly. These look like those very old Bitmojis that were there before. Bitmojis were a thing, but I'm not sure what they were called. They were also like CGI, you could customize them and they would also just move. Does anyone remember? Oh, I did get to play Just Dance for a little while on the Wii by my friends. I really like that game, even though, again, I can't dance. Okay, so this movie wasn't as bad, but it's not my type of movie. I'm going to put it between Puppy Adventure and Princess Power. I must say I have seen half of this movie already, but I must say I lost my attention throughout the movie, so I never really got to finish it. So since Barbie Spice Squad, the main quote of the movie has been, "This is our story, what's yours?" While the other movies had something like, "Be brave, you're stronger than you think." It kind of shows that the new Barbie movies are just a little bit more about storytelling, I guess, and just trying to make original stories rather than having an actual lesson or something. The water looks really good though. I don't even remember this part of the movie. I just remember being weirded out that Ken and Barbie are like best friends instead of like a boyfriend girlfriend like they've always been. I feel like I'm gonna be positive about this movie. You know, coming back from a trip to the bird park today, I do realize I can be a lot like Skipper, always having the camera by hand, also just photographing a lot, and I also have a lot of technical stuff with me. I'm that girl with the power bank who is behind also playing Pokemon Go, beating a gym and stuff. They really started doing the rhythmic songs, a lot of percussion, a lot of beats. I mean, in this day of age, mermaid swimming is like a popular thing, right? So people wouldn't even be that convinced when they would see like a mermaid thing, because it could have been just a fake tail. I'm not in the mood for Puppy Chase. And there's a nutcracker there over there. Okay, I'm kind of hooked in the story. They could just lift out the dolphins and release them
I need to fix
over the small wall. Open the gate. I'm so frustrated because they were very slow right now. Of course Barbie is gonna be a mermaid. I mean, they could have just hid underwater, right? Oh, I do like this movie. That was a very nice one. I mean, I got frustrated at some points, but I think it's a very lovely movie. It really ended up on a positive note, so I am going to put this between Mariposa Fairy Princess and Christmas Carol. I think that's a nice spot, because I do think Mariposa Fairy Princess was also a very pretty movie, and Christmas Carol was a very nice movie with a nice message, but Dolphin Magic was... I'm feeling very positive about this. And with that, I watched all 36 Barbie movies. So my conclusion, or just my afterthoughts, even though I was sometimes a little bit negative about some particular movies, I am very happy that I did this. And Barbie being there already for 60 years, I do wish her for many more years of existence. I unfortunately don't have time to pay some attention to like the Rockers movies that were there before Nutcracker, and also to talk about the bloopers, animation mistakes, but also some behind the scenes stuff, because 36 movies, I calculated it took around 48 hours. My tip is to basically not binge watch 36 Barbie movies. I've watched a lot of Barbie movies just depending on my mood, and because I have almost all of them on DVD, if I'm in the mood to watch a particular movie, either about fairies or mermaids or ballet, I could just pull one out and just watch it and enjoy it. There were a lot of talented people who worked on these movies. Many kinds of directors, but also a lot of designers, and also a lot of songwriters, composers, and more. And I recommend, if you want to look into some of the artworks of those talented peoples, or just more work they put in, check out the full credits on IMDb or the Barbie Movies Wikia, because that way I found a lot of information about who made the music, who animated it, but also voice actors. And as I said, I compared a lot of voice actors from different series, especially My Little Pony, because I recognized it. And yeah, it's just a fun thing to see how many people actually worked and put work into these movies. Of course, again, they're not cinematic masterpieces, but there's something enjoyable about them. So I'm gonna talk about a few little things just to give the editing me even more work to do. So my opinion on what makes a Barbie movie great is, most of the times there's no modern stuff. Like, the recent movies have a lot of modern technology, but also words like selfie and emoji and squat, and it makes just a little cringy, and it makes it less timeless than the older movies were. Also, consistent animation. My main flaw with a lot of the movies were the fact that the faces changed, or that it just looked a little bit awkward. Also, the colors were sometimes very cringy when it's very saturated, very unrealistic. But I think in some other movies they did it really well with having very natural colors. I think ballets and musicals were very successful, flowing stories, but the main thing that I think made a lot of these movies timeless was also nostalgia and taste. So I did talk negatively about a lot of these movies, and again, I do feel guilty when I do that, and just because I put them in the red doesn't mean that I hate them, because I think it's totally fine if you, for example, love Princess Power but don't like Barbie as Rapunzel, for example. It's all coming down to taste. As I said, there's so many different subgenres like fairies, princesses, modern things, the real life Barbie versus a fictional character. So again, over here you have my final ranking. I might change a few things while editing, because I did struggle a lot with ranking the movies. My top 3 is basically Barbie as Rapunzel, Three Musketeers, and Pegasus. But if you look throughout the entire list, there are also a lot of newer movies that I really like, but also older movies that I really disliked. So again, this list is subjective, and I am curious to anyone who watches this video and ended up watching it till the end, what your top 36, top 10, top 5, top 3 even, or just your favorite movie is. Because there are so many different movies, and I know that a lot of people will just choose for the older movies. But again, there are also a few newer movies that are very, very good, in my opinion. I was definitely amazed by Starlight Adventure, and Rock 'n' Royals was also already a movie that I liked to watch, even though it just came out a few years ago. I have to work on these lists during editing, but these are my favorite songs. Then we have a list of my favorite outfits and transformations, and maybe another list of I don't know what, but editing powers. So what's the future for Barbie movies? The answer is I don't know. I'm just basing all my conclusions and analyses on my opinions, things I've seen before, and there are thousands of people who know this better than me. But as we can already see throughout the rebranding of Barbie as this teenager, we have a lot of movies that focus on Barbie as the main character, even though there is magic in those worlds that she plays in. Again, a lot of movie and their success depends on nostalgia, and I'm sure that little children nowadays love the newer movies and are obsessed with them, and dolls, for example. And that's always been a generation thing, that we like the older stuff and judge the newer stuff. I wish they would really put effort in making like a perfect quality cinematic animation movie, but in the end they're not gonna be the same anymore, and that's okay. You know, there's rebranding, there's the brand image thing. You always have to improve yourself. I love these movies, some more than others, but I understand that there will be mediums that I really dislike. But still, Barbie Life in the Dream House, best thing they ever did. So now I'm going to talk about live action Barbie. I feel like after watching 36 Barbie movies that I will be kind of qualified, or at least that I deserve to talk about the live action Barbie movie. At least prediction, theories, my opinions. I am very anxious about this movie for several reasons, and I feel like these anxieties are similar to the anxieties I have for Mulan live action movie that Disney is doing. You know, I just want them to do it right. Mulan is actually a movie that I didn't grow up with, but especially with my ethnicity, it's kind of an important movie for me, and I just want them to do it justice. On the other hand, Barbie is far from what I look like, and that's been a problem for many years, that Barbie is not a realistic person. People see Barbie as this person promoting unhealthy habits to get thin or whatever, and generally just bad for body image. I'm aware of these controversies. I know that Barbie made many mistakes surrounding body image, but also other things like the deforestation and generally just having controversial dolls, for example. Okay, so originally Amy Schumer was cast for the movie, and honestly, I'm very afraid to say this, but I was happy to see that she left the movie. I was very happy when Anne Hathaway got the role, but she also left. Currently, Margot Robbie is casted as live-action Barbie, which I haven't seen much of, so I just hope for the best. The movie went through a lot of recrewing. I don't know what the actual word is, but I think they changed some writers, and that comes with a lot of changes and budget changes and everything, and a lot of delays. And seeing as this news is coming out and they have A-list actors and stuff, their audience seems to be like the actual general audience. It's not gonna be for little girls, I think, but it's just generally something for, I think, adults, like this rom-com thing. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Basically, like, things that I see on Netflix, like Isn't It Romantic, and these kind of movies that I haven't actually watched. But they seem to be aiming for, like, the box office and to make millions out of this movie. And that scares me, because it will go through a lot of judgment. People now like to see diversity, and Barbie herself is far from being diverse. I mean, of course, her friends are all diverse. She has the diverse fashionistas. She has a lot of Barbifications of a lot of inspirational humans, but the main character being Barbie herself will put off a lot of people. And that's why there are also a lot of bad articles written about her, about how the Barbie movie is not something we need in 2019, and more of these similar stuff. As you can see, I am not Barbie. I don't look like Barbie, and again, Barbie has always been kind of the perfect image. That's actually all I want to say about Barbie live action movie, that I'm just very anxious about it because I just don't know what to expect. But as you may see from this video is that I'm very passionate about Barbie, even though I don't collect many dolls, and the only thing that I connected with was the movies. I'm also just a very casual Barbie movies fan because, as you could see, I have general information about Barbie and its history. There are so many more collectors and fans and people who just know way more about Barbie as a brand. There's a whole fandom out there, and I never really said I was part of it. But yet I am a dedicated Barbie movie watcher. I don't know where I'm going with this. So my conclusion is, liking a Barbie movie is very subjective. So yeah, thanks for like the 2 people who watched the full video. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna hit 2. People might just click off after seeing Princess and the Pauper, or they just might not even get to the first movie at all. But if this video did well, I might just make more Barbie movie related videos, because while this was a little too much, I am willing to do more research and talk a little more about each movie, or just the movies I really like. But yeah, that was my Barbie movie marathon. I might add some more facts over here about the whole process of creating this video. But for anyone who watched till the end, or just watch 1 minute and won't get to this point, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you learned something about Barbie today. These movies may be created just to make more money for toys, but I think they inspired millions of people, including me. I feel like I still want to say something, but I shouldn't. That was a very nice ending. It's time to sleep. I'm very tired. So what did you do this break? I watched 36 Barbie movies.